Hello. Hi. It's Anna Walker, and I aim to misbehave. Um, with stabthingsintoexistence.com. Welcome to the studio. I'm glad you could join me today for Tell Me Thursday. And oftentimes I get asked the question, is there just one book that I can have as a reference item that will help me with all of my questions of felting? The short answer, no, you need to have them all. The best answer, yeah, this book here. Um, Uniquely Felt by Christine White was published the year before I learned to felt. And I don't think that it's a coincidence that I found this book very early in my felting journey because I was looking everywhere for, something beyond the little $4 teach yourself how to needle felt kit that was smaller than my iPhone here. Um, YouTube wasn't a thing back then. Online video tutorials wasn't a thing back then. I mean, when I learned, I think we were still in dial up mode where you went pee. So it has been a hot minute since I first got this book. And I still, to this day, 14 years later, refer to this book on a pretty regular basis. And it's because Christine did an amazing job of going through all of the information that you need to know about how felting works, what makes felting work, what tools are there that are best to have on hand, what fibers work best for what projects. And then it's got over 40 projects listed in here, in addition to brief little spotlights on some incredible felt makers. So I'm going to turn the camera down and we're going to kind of go through the book that I think, and I'm not the only one, I think that this book, Uniquely Felt, should be considered the Felter's Bible. And guess what? So does the library journal. The quote on the front cover is, if any book deserves to be called the Felt Maker's Bible, this is it. And they're right. So here we go. I love that you guys are seeing this, right side up and all of that good stuff, because that means that you can peruse through and sort of see for yourself what makes this an amazing book. You've got lots of reference and lots of detailed information on felting, how it works, why it works, where it, falls into place. But you've got what's felt making, collecting the tools, beginner project, learning the basics, learning about wool. Very important when you're choosing the wool that you're using for a certain project. And it just goes on from there. But one of the things that I wanted to show you are these little spotlight vignettes where you get a picture of an amazing felt maker. This one is Sharon Costello. Some of their work, and then a little background information about them. Pointers for needle felting from Sharon. And then, just for fun, you've got some wonderful little projects that you can do collecting the tools. This is before there were really blending boards, so blending boards are not going to be in here, but you will find pretty much all of the other tools that you might want to have. See, pool noodles. Man, I've never seen an octagon-shaped pool noodle, but that's pretty cool. But all of the information. And I learned something today. Excuse me. Here's a drum carder. I have two of them. I learned something about soap when I was perusing through this morning to give you some ideas. Pat Spark. She is in a group and I get to see her face every once in a while. She's an amazing felt maker. Look at these tulips here. Aren't they amazing? The the thing that I learned about soap, it makes perfect sense when you think about it. Um, you know how some shampoos work better on some types of hair? Well, some soaps work better on some types of wool. Who knew? I guess I hadn't read that part in the book quite so easily. But you've got a whole chapter of beginning projects. This one looks, I mean, cords are definitely a perfect beginner project, as are felt balls. That's another wonderful beginner project. But there's something I wanted to show you. Look at these. These slices are from a giant log or a giant cord, and then it's sliced with a knife or a pair of electric scissors. But you just make a giant caterpillar of the wool, different layers of colors. You felt that, and then you start cutting slices from it, or maybe you want to cut beads from it and have these interesting little bullseyes at either end. Andrea Graham is one of the first felt artists that I discovered, and she, to this day, is a favorite that I go to for inspiration. Her detail, her sculptures, she does some amazing sculpture work as well. It's just totally gobsmacking amazing. But this book has got everything that you need, all of the information in one spot. Here we're talking about different wools and what they look like felted to give you an idea of what the process is going to look like when you get to the end of the felting. There's another book that is more of an encyclopedia of sheep breeds and their wools. But this gives you a taste of that within the pages to help you make the best determination as to what wool I want to pull for what project. But there's inspiration, there are ideas on every single page, gives you some wonderful projects to work through, helps you figure out, okay, what's wet felting with the resist? How do I make slippers? I'm still working on the slippers looking good idea, but I do have the wonky pair that my friend Carrie and I made together. Hers look much better than mine did. But we've got just everything from little doodads to hats to garments to laying out yardage to you name it, it is in this book. That is why I call this the Felter's Bible. And so does the library journal, just saying again. But gives you a great resource to refer to as often as you need to during your felting journey. So if you don't have any books right now in your felting stash, in your felting library, I have most of them. I won't say most of them. I do have a lot, and I have passed on a lot to because they served their purpose. I learned what I needed to learn from them, and they needed to go on to the next place. There's some books that will always be in my felting reference library. This is the first one on the shelf. Moy McKay's books are on that shelf. Sharon Costello's books are on that shelf. Danny Ives' book is on that shelf. You know, there are enough that I need to hold on to because they give me more than just a simple gloss over a few projects. The books that I hang on to are books that prove over and over again each time I open them that they have something new to offer me. And those are the ones that stay in my library. And I want to make sure that y'all know that Uniquely Felt should be in your library too. So that is our Tell Me Thursday for today. I am so grateful that you join me here every day, Monday through Friday, although not tomorrow because tomorrow's Good Friday and I'm taking it off. Besides which, I'll have my grandsons all day, so we'll probably go outside and have some fun in the backyard. thank you for being here. There are still two of the peace flags, number 1 and number 4, I believe, are waiting to be purchased. Remember, 100% of the purchase price of those goes to the International Red Cross's efforts in Ukraine. And we've already raised with the first three $225. So that makes my heart happy and makes my heart full. And I can't wait to see what the next thing is that I'll create together with you. Um, have a great weekend. Have a happy Easter. Have a blessed Easter. And we will talk again on Monday.